What's up guys? Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Mirko. Welcome to today's class. Today's class is all about the back, but especially the upper middle back between our shoulder blades so that we can improve our posture, open up our shoulders and combat the slouch, the office slouch. So, are you ready? Are you ready? Let's go. So we're going to start with a kneeling position like this. If for any reason this doesn't work for your knees, you can go ahead and sit on the ground cross-legged or sit on a chair or something a little bit higher. Take your hands behind your head and just cradle the back of your head with your arms. That's it. So you want to already feel like you're already elongating your spine. And then we're going to go into a little bit of a round back and an extended back. So take an inhale. As you exhale, round your upper body forward, but only bend from the rib cage. So you want to pretend you have a ball in front of your body. You're just going to wrap yourself over the ball without squashing it. And then do the opposite direction. So you're going to come up and imagine there's a ball behind your back. You want to lift up and over. Imagine there's a string pulling your chest to the ceiling. So it's just a mild lift. You don't want to feel any strain in the lower back. So just be gentle with this one. And then again, exhale to go forward over the ball. Inhale, let the string lift you up to the ceiling. And exhale, round yourself forward. And an inhale to lift back up. And we'll do that 3 more times. So round your back. So as I mentioned, we're gonna work on the muscles of our back, but especially the middle back. So just between the shoulder blades where we need it the most, because usually when we sit at the computer we're kind of like in this position, so we want to strengthen the muscles right behind here and open up everything at the front. Give me one more here. Round yourself forward and then inhale to lift yourself up and then come back to the center. Now go into a quadruped position. So you're going to have your hands and knees on the mat. Roughly have your hands in line with your shoulders and your knees under your hips. If it bothers your wrist, you can turn your fingers out a little bit like this. So let's do the same movement. We're going to involve the lower back as well. So we're going to go into a cat-cow stretch. So go ahead and round your back into a cat stretch. You want to feel like you're pushing the floor away with your arms as well as with your knees. You want to feel you pulling the front of the body up towards your spine. And then as you inhale, go the opposite direction. So imagine that your chest is being pulled forward by a string, just like the previous exercise. And to increase the extension or the lift in the middle back, pretend you could slide your hands towards your knees. So if your hands could move, they'll be sliding this way, but they don't move physically. You just feel like you could slide them, and notice if that gives you a little bit more lift through the front of the chest. Then press the floor away with your arms and with your knees. Round your back, look towards your belly button. Feel the rib cage in your belly button pull in. And then keep a little bit of that as you go into your cow stretch. Pulling the arms gently towards your knees and feel like some activation through the lats muscles down here. We'll do it one more time. Rounding your back into a cat stretch. Notice that your knees are right under your hips, and if they're not, adjust them. And then go ahead and round your spine the other way around. So arch your spine gently, pull the hands towards your knees. And then we're going to go into a waving movement. So keeping your spine in a little bit of an extension like this. You're going to round only your lower back and your tail and your pelvis. And then you're going to go out again. So begin from your hips, then your lower back. And then of course eventually your mid back will round as well. But try and delay it as much as you can. Now on the way back, start from your tail. So reach the tailbone towards the ceiling. Transfer that movement all the way up to the back of your head, so you are in your cow stretch. From the cow stretch, you're going to go into a rolling of the pelvis, rolling of the lower back, then the middle back, then your head drops down. Keep your head down, point your tail to the ceiling. So this is like a body wave through the spine. Give me one more. Tail starts to move in first. Lower back opens, mid back opens. Drop the head down, take an inhale. Exhale, send your tail to the sky. Feel that string pulling your chest forward and up. Good, and then go back to a neutral position here. From here, turn your fingers inwards, slide one hand, so maybe face the screen here, slide one hand down to the floor, bend the other arm, and try and get to the floor with that shoulder, with your underneath shoulder. And you should feel a nice stretch between the shoulder blades and the back of your bottom arm. And then take a big inhale here. Exhale, de-rotate and come back. Switch over to the other side, slide one arm down. You're keeping one arm bent and the weight stays on that arm. And then rotate back in. We'll do that one more time. Slide one arm under. The weight stays into your bent arm. So this arm is gonna just relax on the ground. Try and get to the floor if you can, as close to the floor as you can with your bottom arm. And then come back up and give me one more on the other side. Slide the bottom arm down. Keep the weight onto the other arm. Try and bring the shoulder down to the ground. Big inhale. Exhale, come back in. Good work. All right, so let's go on to our elbows. We're gonna go into an elbow plank. So I wanna start to activate the abdominals and the shoulders a little bit before we start. And in this position, you wanna be with your hips in line with your shoulders. So move your knees back enough so that your bottom is not hanging up in the air like this. Give me a little bit of a pelvic tilt just to lengthen the lower back and reactivate the abdominals again. Now, if you feel like this is challenging enough, stay like this. Otherwise, full version, bring your knees off the floor. Reach the heels back. And at the same time, reach your head forward. You want to maintain as much length through your body as you can. And remember the feeling of a plank, so what we're doing right now, when we do all the back work. So just because the back is working doesn't mean your abs can take a little coffee break. They should also be working to stabilize. So this is how we activate the abdominals in what we call a prone position, or when you're facing completely down. So give me a couple of more minutes here. No, I'm kidding, just a couple of more seconds. Big breath in and exhale, lower the knees down, come up onto your hands and find now a regular plank. So from here, you're gonna have your hands under your shoulders. So of course, you can always keep your knees down if you prefer, but otherwise come up into a full plank. Push the floor away, pull the rib cage and your abdominals in. You want to feel like your heels are reaching to the floor and at the same time your head is reaching forward. So you're like an elastic band. You're being stretched from the top to the bottom of your body. And of course, we should still be breathing. So big inhale and an exhale. Give me one more. Feel that as you exhale, you can draw the abdominals in a little bit more each time. Now, drop down onto your knees. Keep your hands and knees where they are right now. We're gonna go into a swan position, which means your pelvis is gonna come forward slightly more than the plank. Your chest is gonna lift up. And again, here's the string pulling your chest forward and up. Now from here, point your toes back. You're gonna sit towards your heels without actually sitting on the heels all the way. You wanna keep your hands where they were a second ago. We're gonna go into the cat-cow stretch wave that we just did in quadruped. So from here, we're gonna start rolling the pelvis under. Really do your best to isolate the pelvis from the rest of the spine at this point. And then that movement is gonna ripple all the way through the spine until you are in your swan position. So lifting the chest up, pushing the floor away with your arms. You should feel the activation in the abdominals right now. So you don't wanna feel like you're hanging, like just passively here. You wanna be very active through this extension. And then we'll sit back again. So we're preparing the spine for the work ahead. So go ahead and round your spine all the way through. Take an inhale to lift the chest up. Feel like that elongation from the front of the body all the way down to your knees. And sit back. Gonna give me one more. Round your tail first. And then go into your full swan. Remember the shape and the feeling of this. You're gonna bend your arms and come down all the way down to your head and chest, rest on the ground. In this position, I want you to feel the lower ribs, so all the ribs just right here, staying heavy into the mat. Legs are staying heavy, pelvis is staying heavy. But remember the feeling of a plank, because you still want to feel the abdominals are slightly drawing away from the floor. They're not just completely hanging out. Then, keeping the lower ribs heavy on the ground, take an inhale and start to peel the top ribs, so the upper ribs, away from the mat, and only stop until you can still feel the rib cage, the lower ribs touching the mat. In other words, you want to feel the work here in the middle back and not too much into the lower back. And then go ahead and roll back down. So this is going to be a not very small movement, it's fairly small movement. So again, you want to point your elbows back before we start. Inhale, lift the chest up. And here is that string pulling your chest forward and up again, just like the warm-up. And then come back down. Inhale again. And lift the chest up. Keep the lower ribs heavy into the mat. And lower back down. Give me 2 more here. You can inhale to lift the chest up, which I find helps expanding the front ribs. But if that feels uncomfortable, go ahead and exhale instead. So you can do this breath, exhale here. Now let's hold this position right here for a moment. Take your arms off the floor and see if you're able to maintain the same distance from your chest to the floor without it going to the lower back. You still want to keep the work right up here. If that feels too much for your lower back, however, you can come down a little bit more. Otherwise, stay where you are. And you're going to go into a dart exercise. So that means your arms are going to reach back, palms facing the ceiling. Draw the shoulders together, but not pinching together. Just going to widen the chest. From here, pulse your arms up towards the ceiling. Imagine you have a pencil under each of your armpits. You want to keep the pencil there. Don't drop it on the ground. That's good. So you should feel the back of the arms working, the middle back working. And really focus on this movement coming from your shoulder blades and not from your arms. And also remember not to go higher and higher with your chest or do this, because you want to move your arms independent from the spine. And that's what's going to strengthen the muscles between the shoulder blades, which will improve your posture if you're sitting at a computer for too long. Now hold everything here, turn the palms down. So you're going to rotate the chest open and reach your fingers a little more. We're going to resume those pulses again. So this might feel a little bit more, maybe like a decreased range of motion or a little bit more challenging between the shoulder blades, but that's good. We want a bit of a challenge today. So keep your neck long. You're just looking at the front of the mat and you should really feel the shoulder blades moving the arms instead of the arms moving the shoulder blades. Hold the last one here. Bend your elbows, make a W shape here. Keep your arms lifted, lower the chest and head down for a moment. So you should still feel the middle back is working to keep your arms up. From here, take a breath in. Exhale, lift the top of the chest up. Keep the lower ribs heavy on the ground. From a W shape, I want you to go into a straight arm overhead reach. So we're going to reach the left arm up over the head. Straighten the arm fully if you can. Come back down and switch. Reach out. Come back down and reach. And back down. And reach and back down. Option 2, if you're up for a challenge, both arms reaching, both arms pulling back, both arms reaching and then coming back. Try and keep your arms parallel to the floor the whole time. And at any point, if your lower back starts to bother you, lower the head down to the mat and just keep your arms going. You want to be breathing out, you want to be breathing in. Are you guys feeling some work in between the shoulder blades? I certainly can. And back in. 3 more. Extend out. Come back in. Last 2. Reach out. And back. 1 more. Back to your W shape. Hold. Keep your arms lifted. Lower the head and chest down. Take a little break. Elbows are still up. Breathe breath in. Exhale. Lift the chest up again. Extend your arms out into a T shape. Thumbs up to the ceiling. Pulse your arms to the ceiling. Every time you pulse your arms, your shoulder blades move a little closer together. And ideally, you want your arms to stay kind of fairly lifted away from the ground. Hold. From here, bring your arms all the way over your head. Lower the arms down, stretch your arms long, stretch your back long. That should feel so good after all that work. So we're going to go into the Y pulses. And why they call that? Because you're like, why are we doing this? Because it's very good for your back. So walk your hands out a little bit more. Just a Y shape right here, or a V shape if you want to look at it that way. So let's do the first option with the head and shoulders down. So keep your head just hovering off of the mat. Thumbs are going to be pointing up towards the ceiling. You want to take an inhale. Draw the abdominals away from the floor. Exhale, lift both arms up and just stay here. At any point, if that feels too much for your back, bend your elbows and lift them up. This is going to be a little easier. This is going to be a little more challenging. So choose your option. From the Y position, we're going to pulse for 8, slow, 7, and 6, and 5, and 4, 3, last 2, 1 more, hold. Now lift your right leg up, and then lower, still keeping your arms up, left leg up, and lower. If your back can take it, lift both legs up, your arms are still lifted. Lower back down. Continue having a sense of length through your whole body here. And come back down. We'll do it 3 more times. Lifting up and back. So lifting the leg starts to activate our glutes, which are part of our back muscles. And we're going to use them a little more later, but this is just to get them going. 1 more. And stay. Bring your arms a little bit closer together. Rest your arms down. Rest your head and shoulders down. Oh, take a breath if you weren't already. We're going to go into the pre-swimming and then the full swimming. So the easier option is keeping one arm and leg on the ground, especially if you have tension in the lower back. Don't go into the full version. So let's keep your head and shoulders or head and chest close to the mat. You're going to take an inhale. On the exhale, lift your right arm and your left leg. And they don't have to be super high. Just an inch or two off the ground is good. Lower back down and switch. Remember, as you lift the arms and legs, you want to also draw the abdominals up. Pretend you're doing this in a plank. So you want to activate the front of the body as you work in the back of the body. Come back down and switch. Option 2, lift the chest a little bit higher. And if you can, if your back can take it, now go into the full swimming. So both arms and legs stay off the ground. And you're looking just in front of your mat. And remember, it's opposite arm to leg. We're swimming. Imagine you're swimming in an ocean full of fish. Big breath in and exhale. Big breath in and exhale. 3 more minutes. No, I'm kidding, just 5 more seconds. 1 more. And rest everything back down. We need a child's pose, I think. Let's go and take a child's pose right here. Sit back on your heels, stretch your arms out in front, drop the heels down low towards your heels. And then round your spine to a cat stretch. Reposition yourself in the middle of the mat if you need to. And then we're gonna go into the quadruped. So the quadruped is also a very nice exercise that activates and works the back of the body, but it requires you to stabilize from the front. So you're working back and front at the same time in one exercise. And who doesn't like that? So from here, knees under your hips, we're gonna start with the right leg sliding back and lifting up just hip height. And then at the same time, your left arm reaching forward about shoulder height. Now, if you feel like a little tight in your chest, you can lower the arm down a little bit more, but try and keep the arm and the leg parallel. Now, lower back down, stabilize your hips. Imagine there's a glass of water on your lower back. When you change leg, you don't want to spill the water. Extend the leg out, feel the back of the knee opening fully, then reach your right arm in front. Again, pretend you're doing a plank. You want to pull the front of the body in the whole time. And lower back down. So kind of similar to the swimming when you're working opposite arm to leg, except the floor is not helping you to stabilize. So you have to do everything from the abdominals and then come back down. So a lot more active version of that movement. Now hold your arm and leg up. We're gonna take, so this is my left leg, so whichever leg is up, you're gonna take the leg to the side and the arm in the opposite direction. So we're working for a diagonal line here. Come back in and we'll do it again. At any point, if you feel too much pressure on that wrist, shift the weight back towards the leg and your wrist will be slightly in front of your shoulder, and that's still okay because you're still working the same muscles in your back. Open and return. Give me 1 more. And come back in. We'll still have that glass of water on your lower back. I hope you do. Let's switch leg. Don't spill the water. Extend your right leg and your left arm. Or if you're doing the other side, change it, but opposite arm to leg. From here, stabilize your pelvis and shoulders. Take an inhale, open the arm and leg to the side. Exhale, close it back in. Inhale, open. And close back in. 3 more times. Again, shift the weight more towards your knee if you're Standing arm is getting a little tired. Last 2. And back. Give me 1 more. Open to the side. Good. And then come back in. Let's bring everything back. Shake your arms for a moment. So let's do like a more interesting or more challenging version of your quadruped. So instead of opposite onto leg, you're going to be working on the same arm, same leg. So let's do the side that is closer to the screen so you can see it. So for me, it will be my left arm, left leg. So I'm going to slide my left leg first. I'm going to need to shift slightly to the right here, but it's a very slight shift. You don't want to have all of the weight going across. So just as little as you possibly can. Enough that you can lift your left leg and the left arm. Now, oftentimes our pelvis wants to rotate because it's easier here. So don't let that happen. Keep the hip down and just hold that there. Reach the arm and the leg away from each other. Really feel that length on the side you're working. And come back down. Challenging, huh? Change side. Right leg extends. I'm gonna shift ever so slightly to my left side. I'm gonna pick up the right leg and the right arm. And this is my easy side. That's why I don't wobble as much. And just hold that here. Really lengthen the whole side of your body that you're working. 3 more seconds. And 2. And 1. Come on down, sit back on your heels. Good job, you guys. I know that's a challenging one. So don't worry if you didn't get it today. Practice, practice, you'll get it. One day you'll get it. All right, shake your arms out. We're gonna go into the full swan here. So we've done the rolling swan earlier. We're gonna repeat that one more time and then go into the full version. So let's start with a kneeling plank. Shoulders in line with your wrist and your body straight from the head down to the knees. From here, let's go into a frozen banana shape, or your swan, also called swan. Bend your elbows and keep your spine in the same shape as you roll down. Then you're gonna flatten the spine down. And again, take an inhale to rise up. Peel the body up off the ground. Top of the head reaches to the ceiling, toes reaching back. Exhale, bend your elbows. Bring the thighs down first. Then your hips, then your ribs, then your chest and your shoulders. And again, inhale, start to look forward. Imagine that string pulling your chest forward and up. Be active in your arms here. Remember, you don't want to hang into the shoulders. You want to push away and back down. Give me 2 more of those. So before we start the next one, everybody, remember, lengthen the tail towards your feet to create as much space in the lower back as possible. Then coming up should feel like you're working mostly from the middle back instead of just hanging into your lower back. Give me 1 more, rolling down. And last one, take a breath in. And as you breathe in, peel yourself up off the ground. Now, as you exhale, come down. We're gonna stop before the chest touches the ground. So your lower ribs are on the mat, your upper ribs are lifted. If your back can take it, lift both legs up as well and hold. Otherwise, keep your legs down and skip this version. Just keep your chest lifted. And then if you can, lift your arms off the floor. So I want you to feel like you're using your whole entire back of the body, from the base of your head all the way down to your heels, but evenly, not just the lower back holding everything up. I want you to feel your legs lifting. I want you to feel your shoulders widening. Then from here, hands are gonna be down, rest. We'll do it 1 more time. Lifting the chest up. Lower ribs are on the mat, upper ribs are lifted. Legs are lifted as an option. Hands are up, hold. So this is version number 1. Version number 2, we're gonna rock back and forward if you can do it. Otherwise, stay with this one. Now, hands on the floor. Take an inhale, lift up. Now exhale, rock and catch. Rock and catch. Last 2. 1 more. And come up into the swan and sit back down onto your heels. Drop the head down. All right, so from the child's pose, let's go into the double leg kick. So come up onto your knees again. And again, if this feels uncomfortable for your knees, just come up to high kneeling position instead. But I'm gonna start sitting down onto my heels. So we're gonna interlace the fingers like this, behind. And then bring the hands high towards your lower back. You're gonna turn your head towards the screen. We're gonna take an inhale. As you exhale, come up onto your knees. Reach your arms down. I'm gonna turn so you can see better. Reach your arms down towards your feet. At the same time, lift the chest up. Here is that string that pulls you up towards the ceiling. You're gonna feel the front of the chest opening. If you can, take your hands away from your butt. Otherwise, keep your hands touching your butt. Now, come down to your heels again. Bend your arms and turn the head the opposite way. Again, big inhale. Exhale, come up onto your knees. Reach your arms down, string pulls your chest up. Arms reaching down towards the back of your knees. And we'll do that one more time. This is the preparation, by the way. The full movement, we're gonna do it facing down, but this is just so you can see the choreography. So from here, take a breath in. Exhale, stretch your arms down. Try and squeeze the back of the shoulders together to open the chest a little more. You want this part to be really open. And then come down, give me one more. Turn the head the opposite way, breathe in. Exhale, up onto your knees, reach your arms down, feel the opening of the chest. Now, one thing to mention here, rib cage must stay down. Be careful not to go into this position. Too much lower back. I want this part of your body to lift, not here. All right, let's come down to the ground. We'll do the same exact movement, but lying down. So roll yourself down, bend the knees, interlace your fingers behind your back. Let the elbows rest on the ground here. And your knees are gonna be together. Turn the head towards the screen so you can see what's happening. Take an inhale. On the exhale, straighten the legs, lift them a little bit off the floor. Turn the head, lift the chest, straighten the arms. Just the same thing we were doing kneeling. Again, if your hands can come off your butt, that would be great. Otherwise, keep them lightly resting there. Turn the head the opposite way. Bend your arms and bend your legs. Rest your elbows on the ground. Inhale. As you exhale, straighten the legs, lift the chest. Stretch your arms, scoop your belly away from the floor. Feel like you're just flying in the air here. Bend your arms, turn the head towards me. We'll do it one more time. Inhale. Exhale, pick up the elbows, straighten the legs. Reach your arms to the back of the knees. String pulls your chest forward and up. One more time. Knees bent, arms bent. Inhale. And exhale, stretch the legs, stretch your arms, lift the chest up, hold it here. Take your arms out into a T if you can. Bend your arms. Legs are gonna stay up. Of course, you can rest your hands on the floor if it's a bit too much at this point. Open the legs a little bit wider. We're gonna go into the heel beat. So imagine you're clapping your hands, but instead you're clapping your feet. Well, you can clap your hands as well if you like, but it's not necessary right now. Just focus on the inner thighs and hold the legs together. Hands under your shoulders. Inhale up into your swan. Sit back on your heels into your child's pose. And drop everything down. You can give yourself a little shake here. So I think we've done sufficient amount of back work for now. We're gonna revisit that in a moment, but let's just do some other muscles now. So we're gonna focus on the front of the body. So I'd like you to move down to the middle of your mat and make sure you have plenty of mat behind you to lay on later on. And let's start with your hands under your knees a little bit bent. We're gonna take an inhale here. On the exhale, go ahead and roll yourself halfway down only. And then go ahead and come back up. Good, and keep that going. Round your spine down. And lift back up. So at this point, you're using your arms to help you lower the spine with control. Now give me a little bit less grip with your arms. So like 50% less. And you should feel right away a little more work in the abdominals. And then if you can, let go of your knees completely and come back up. One more, round yourself down. Halfway down, and that's enough, and then come back up. Hold on to your knees again. Bring them closer, roll the pelvis under, lift your feet and stay here. Find your balance right here. Again, your arms are very lightly touching. They don't really hold for dear life. Drop the shoulders down, and we're gonna roll down. Now, you're pushing your legs away from you as you roll your spine down, bone by bone, rolling down, control it, all the way down. Now we're gonna go back up. So lift the head and shoulders first. press the legs down and away from you as you pull with your arms. So your legs are pushing, your arms are pulling at the same time. Then again, rolling back down. Send your tailbone down and roll smoothly all the way down. Inhale, lift the head and shoulders. Exhale, lift up. You can just place your feet on the mat for now. One more, rolling down. So this is the easy version or the modification for the next exercise. So if you find the next one too challenging or that you can't come up off the floor, stay with this one instead. But I'm gonna move on to the full version of the roll up. So you're gonna keep your legs in front of you, arms are gonna be in front, dive over towards your toes or towards your ankles. If you can touch your toes, touch them. If you can't, don't worry about it, it's fine. And then roll yourself up to a sitting position. Pointing the toes, you're gonna roll down the same way we practice. And then slowly roll down, find the lower back touching the mat. Pause here for a second, shoulder blades off the ground. You should really feel how your abdominals and your rib cage and your pelvis are connecting together. Bring your arms over the head. Now lower everything back down, but keep some of that connection here. So be careful not to just let the spine just open completely. You want to keep the rib cage down. Then bring your arms to the ceiling. Exhale, roll yourselves up off the floor and dive to your feet. Remember, you have the option to hold in your knees if you find that challenging. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, roll on down. We're gonna go a little bit faster now. So bring your arms to the ceiling. Inhale, nod the head, pick up the shoulders. Exhale, slide the ribs down. Make sure you're breathing out as you come up. If you hold your breath, it's going to be a lot harder to lift. Inhale, sit up tall. Exhale, roll down. All the way. And again, arms come up. Inhale, look at your toes. Exhale, lift, 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 and stretch forward. Again, here you're bending over that ball that we talked about earlier at the beginning of the class. Sitting up tall, give me one more. Roll on down. This time, keep your shoulders off the ground. Take your hands behind. Bend the knees, and we're going to do 5 little pulses here. So your legs stay, your chest goes down, and then comes back up. And back. And 3. And 2. And 1. We're going to hold it. Stay right here. Grab your knees. Lift up a little more. Use your arms. Scoop your belly a little bit deeper. Take your arms behind. Hold it right there. Can you feel the love tonight? The burn here at the front of your abdominals. If you can't feel it yet, you gotta come up a little higher. Roll all the way back down. We'll do it again. Inhale, open the elbows a little more. Exhale, roll up, keep your elbows open. Grab your legs, lift up a little more. Remember, no squeezing of the butt. Keep your legs relaxed. Take your arms behind. Hold it there, big breath in. Direct the air into the back of your rib cage here. Roll on down. Ooh, warming up the abdominals yet? I can definitely feel it. One more. Inhale. Exhale. Roll on up. Look towards your knees. Grab the knees. Lift yourself a little bit higher. Shoulder blades completely off the ground at this point. Take your arms behind. We're going to pause here just because it's such an enjoyable position. Lift one knee up and lift the other knee up. Keep your shoulders lifted off the ground. You're going to tap the floor once with the left and once with the right, and back. And you're gonna exhale to tap, inhale back in. Remember, as you're doing this movement with your legs, lower back should be touching the mat at all times. If it isn't, make the taps a little smaller, like keep your foot closer to you. This will be a lot easier for your back as well. And then finish one more on each side. Grab the back of your knees, roll up to sitting, stretch your body forward. Hold that there. If you can hold on to your toes, point your toes, get that little stretch in the back. And then sit up tall. We're gonna roll back down again from here. So roll your pelvis down before your shoulders touch the floor. Stay. Bring your right knee towards you. Float your left leg up. Your elbows are wide here. You're looking towards your straight leg. We're gonna switch leg as we exhale. And switch. And switch. So even though you're pulling the leg towards you, you should be resisting a little bit with your leg. So your leg is kind of resisting against your arms. Now continue with that movement. Option 2, a little bit more challenging. Keep your hands behind your head and moving the legs as if you're moving them through honey. Extend out, suction your legs into your body, suction your legs into your body. 4 more only, and 3, and 2, and 1. Bring both knees in, straighten them up to the ceiling. From here, a little twist to your right, and then to your left, and to your right. Imagine the ceiling is resting on your feet. You want to push the ceiling away and rotate, and 4, and 3. Keep the legs nice and still. 2, 1 more. Back to the center, bend the knees, roll up to seating this time. Balance with your feet off of the ground if you can. Grab the top of your knees, round yourself a little closer. Imagine you are inside a giant soap bubble. So your legs are still up. You're in this huge bubble. You're gonna keep the bubble without bursting it. We're gonna take an inhale to roll onto our shoulders and an exhale to come up and find that balance. Hopefully that bubble hasn't bursted yet. Inhale, rock back, just up to the shoulders. Exhale, come up. Your neck and your head should not be touching the ground, you guys. Make sure you don't roll too fast back. So you want to push the legs in that direction and pull with your arms at the same time. So your shins are pushing, your arms are pulling, and that stops you from just flying back. And give me 1 more, rolling back and coming up. Find that position here. Take your feet on the ground, open the knees to the side. Slide your hands underneath your feet. So you're kind of like serving your feet on a platter right here. Walk your feet back. We're gonna go into a movement called the seal, which sounds cute, but you might think differently. So let's sit back and find that balance. The seal is basically the same as this, but your legs are open. So when you're ready, take an inhale to rock back, just up to the shoulders. Exhale, come up, find your balance, and we'll do it again. Inhale, rock just onto the shoulders. Exhale, come up, find your balance. Your abs are your brakes. If you're slamming the feet down, you're using your legs too much. So be careful. Roll from your rib cage and your abs and not from your feet. Then do that 3 more times. Inhale to rock back, bottom to the ceiling. Exhale, ooh, hold. Last 2, rock behind. Exhale, come up. Use your abs as brakes. 1 more. Inhale back. And screeching brake noise. And rest back down. Straighten legs out in front. Open the arms to the side and back. Open up the front of your body. Ooh, that's nice, everybody. So we haven't done the back for a little while, so I think it's time to revisit those little muscles there. So let's come up onto the mat fully. So I want you to have your arms just behind your shoulders. You can go wider on the mat if you like, just as long as your hands are solid and they're not sliding away. Your fingertips are gonna face the side, but you can also face in if that's easier for your wrist. Let's start with your knees bent. We're gonna go into a bridge. So the bridge, you're gonna plant your feet down, you're gonna roll your pelvis up. Now, travel the knees forward until the front of the body opens towards the ceiling. So to hold yourself up here, you're gonna need all of the muscles behind your body. So your shoulder blades, your back muscles, your butt, your hamstrings, and then go ahead and come back down. As you come back down, be careful not to let the shoulders roll. Always keep some activation between your shoulder blades. Then again, roll the knees forward and up. So here you're in the reverse quadruped. And then you go ahead and roll back down. Keep the activity in between your shoulders, no rounding. 1 more, round your spine, but not your shoulders. Hold it here. Can we pick up 1 leg, keeping the same weight on your arms? Lower, look at your pelvis. As you lift the leg, try and keep it quiet. You have a glass of water resting on your belly button. You wanna keep the water there. Don't spill it. 1 more. Your arms should be feeling quite a lot of work at this point. Lower yourselves back down, give your arms a bit of a shake. Nice. Now we're gonna go into the full version of that called the leg pull. Stay with a single leg version, lifting one leg at a time if you want. I'm gonna do the full version here. So we're gonna start with the legs straight. Again, position of the arms is the same. You wanna roll the shoulders back, you wanna draw the shoulder blades together, but not pinching tight, just widening the front of your chest. Pointing your toes. We're gonna take an inhale, exhale, bridge up and go into the reverse plank basically. And then lower your body back down. Last one, rolling up. So stay with this and just hold, but if you can, lift one leg up and lower back down. Change, and down, and you're still pushing the floor away with both arms, so your back muscles are working. And down, one more. My mat is curling up, I don't know why that's happening. And hold, and go down, stretch your mat, stretch your legs. Good work, everybody. Speaking of bridging, we're gonna do that next. So scoot down a little bit, roll yourselves down, and then lie down with your feet about 1 fist apart, your knees and feet 1 fist apart, and your arms resting by your sides. So let's take an inhale. On the exhale, roll the pelvis towards you, scoop, scoop, scoop the pelvis up. We're gonna go right up to the top of our bridge, which means you're resting between your shoulder blades and on your heels. You wanna make sure your heels are under your knees. So if they're too far forward, now is the time to reposition. And just really enjoy the stretch or the opening of the front of the hips. And then go ahead and roll back down. So as I mentioned, we're gonna work on the back muscles, which includes your butt and the hamstrings. And if you are sitting down a lot during your day, bridging is fantastic because it lengthens the muscles that are tight when we're sitting, and it strengthens the muscles that are stretched. So this is really fabulous to reverse and improve sitting posture. Go ahead and roll back down. Your chest drops down, your shoulders are open. And we'll do that one more time. Then we're gonna start playing with the legs. So curl the pelvis up, scooping the spine up. Imagine you're peeling your spine as if you're peeling Scotch tape. We'll do that one more time. So roll down, and your body is now Scotch tape. You're gonna peel yourself up. And then let's hold it here. Your arms are just gonna stay down resting. Your feet are gonna stay where they are. You're gonna take your left leg up off the floor. From here, we're gonna extend this leg out in front of you so that your thighs are level with one another, and come back. And again, you should feel that as you straighten the left leg, your right glutes work more to prevent this from happening. So you wanna keep your pelvis lifted and come back. You always wanna maintain that opening of the front of the hips. One more. Now hold the leg straight and in front of you. You're going to lower both hips down and come up. Both hips down and come up. Be careful that your left leg doesn't do this. Right? So keep the leg there. Move both of your hips up and down. How's that right butt feeling, everyone? Ooh, it's shaking. One more. Hold the leg up. Let's switch. Thank goodness you're saying yes. So extend the leg out and bring it back in. Extend it out, bring it back in. Now the focus is on your standing leg, which is my left leg in this case. So I'm gonna need to use my left glutes and a little bit of the hamstrings, but mostly I want you to focus on the glutes. So you wanna feel like you're pressuring through the heel mostly, rather than the rest of your foot. Now, keeping the leg straight and keeping both hips level, lower the hips down and lift it up. Lower the hips down and lift it up. Try and keep your thighs level the whole time and lift. So press through the left glutes, open up the left hips. Yep, hip flexors are opening up nicely. We'll do that 3 more times. Oh, you should be feeling a little bit of a burn now. Last 2. I know I am. One more. Hold both legs down. Go ahead and roll all the way down. Give your legs a bit of a shake. Enough of a rest. We're gonna do that one more time, the different movement with your legs. So again, arms resting. Roll the pelvis. Roll up the spine. peel that scotch tape off the floor. Hold it here. Extend your left leg out. Instead of moving it forward and back, we're gonna move it to the side and back. Be careful not to let the left hip drop down. You don't want any of this. You want to keep your pelvis level, open to the side and come back in. Open to the side and come back in. You might find that your arms are wanting to press into the floor a little bit, and that's fine as long as it's a light pressure, not really squeezing too much. Give me one more. Again, all of these movements are change leg. To strengthen your glutes, extend the other leg out. You're gonna open the leg to the side. Keep it as horizontal to the floor as you can and open to the side. So start with small movement. If you feel like the pelvis is really rolling down a lot, then don't go as far out. Open to the side, your arms are lightly pressing into the floor. Give me the last two here. Open and back. Maintain that height with your left leg. Keep pushing to the ground. Hold. Both legs up. No, I'm kidding. And both legs down. Roll down, grab your knees into your chest, give them a little stretch. Oh, that should feel good. Keep your knees bent and your hands on top of your knees. Roll the head and shoulders up. We're gonna be in a chest lift position here again. Straighten the left leg up to the ceiling. Hold the back of your leg with your hands. So you can go behind your knees, or if you're flexible enough, behind your calf. Extend the other leg out. We're gonna go into the single straight leg stretch, AKA scissors. So keeping the shoulders lifted up, you're gonna switch leg and hold and switch. Do your best to keep the knees straight, but if your hamstrings are tight, of course you can bend them like this. But I'm gonna keep mine straight for demonstration purposes. And we're gonna go a little faster. Think of driving your abdominals, think of driving your legs up with your abdominals. So every time your legs come up, you're gonna feel like they're being suctioned into your body, into your body. One more, bend the knees, roll up to sitting. Ooh, find your middle of the mat position. I'm a little bit crooked. And then go ahead and roll back down. Guess what? Scissors, but no hands behind your knees. So full version, straighten legs out, lower one leg down, hold. You wanna bring this leg as close as you can from your lower abs and switch, and switch, and switch, and a little faster but smaller. So this is like swimming but on our back. Option, straighten both legs and both arms away from each other. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bend your knees, roll all the way up, and go ahead and turn to your side. Good work, you guys. So we're gonna go into some side work, so we don't neglect our sides, of course. We've done front and back already. So let's finish the class with some side work. First thing we're gonna do is to lie down. So we're gonna lie down on our side like this. You can have your arms straight if you prefer. I like to keep my arm bent so my neck feels more support. From here, we're gonna keep our straight line from your heels to your head. Your top hand is gonna be in front of you. You're gonna lift both legs up. Maintain length through the top waist. So be careful to squish the waist down. You wanna lengthen this hip away from your shoulder. Then top leg comes up, and keeping your arm down to the ground, you're gonna kick your leg forward and back. Your bottom leg is off the ground slightly, and forward and back. The glass of water is now here on your hip. You don't wanna spill it. Behind and forward and back. Give me one more. So that's 6. Hold it here. 6 circles up and around. If you want a little challenge, take your arm up. Make sure your head is fully resting on your arm. There should be no tension on the side of the neck. This is 5. One more. Go ahead and reverse. 2. Are we still breathing? 3, 4. How's your top glute going? Oh, it's burning a little bit. Hold it right here, and now just lift and lower. Lift and lower. At any point, if you want to stabilize a bit more, take your arm down. For 5 and 6, Hold both legs together. Now reach your arm over the head and find your balance. Imagine you're like an elastic band. You've been pulled from one end to the other. Remember this feeling when we do the next exercise. Then from here, take your hand down. Try and keep your legs up and swing them to the front. Keep your legs up and swing them to the other side. And now lie on the other side. Ooh. You're like, couldn't we just swing the legs over? You could, but it's not as fun. So again, your arm can be straight. I'm gonna keep mine bent because I like it better for my neck. So both of your legs reaching away, your waist reaching away, top hand is down onto the mat. Both legs lift up. Top leg is lifting. Place that glass of water on this hip. And from here, kick the leg forward and back. Kick it forward, just 6 of those, and back. Forward and behind. You can take an inhale to go forward and an exhale to go back. Maintain that glass of water, balance on your hips, no spilling. Final one, hold the leg here, 6 circles in whichever direction you like. And notice the range on this side compared to the other. Sometimes one leg is stronger than the other, so your circles look bigger on one side than the other. Go ahead and reverse. So pay attention to that, and when we do this movement again in a second, just try and make it as even as they possibly can be at this point. Hold the leg down, let's lift it up and down for 6 and 5 and 4. Still keeping the right waist long. Really keep elongating the hip away from your shoulder. Final one, hold your legs together, lift them a little bit higher. Take your arm up and over and hold, elongate from top of the head all the way to your toes. And then rest all the way back down. You can bend the knees for this one. Come up into a kneeling position. And we're gonna take the knees a little bit wider. Let me just move back a little bit. A little bit wider than your hips. Arms are gonna be out to the side. You're gonna side bend towards your right. Your left leg is gonna go out. So here you have your knee under your hip and your shoulder in line with your wrist. Now take your hand behind. Rotate the hips so that they're facing forward. Both of them are facing forward. Top leg is gonna lift up. This should already feel quite different compared to just lying on the floor. So open the leg as high up as it goes. You should really feel the glutes already activated. So from here, flex the foot. We're gonna kick forward and back and kick forward. How many do we have here? Only 6. Thank goodness. That's it. So it's not so much how far forward you kick, it's how high you reach that leg. Last one. Kick forward and back. Hold. What's next? Circle. 6 and 5. The top of the circle is your hip height. Try and get there every time. And if you can't, that's fine. Just keep it low here. Reverse. Up and up. Upper body stays stable the whole time. That's it. One more time after this, I think. And then lower and lift for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bend that knee. Come all the way down to child's pose. Stretch it out. You should feel not only the moving leg, but the stabilizing leg working as well. So both glutes are getting the work. Let's do the other side. You guys are almost there. Hang in there. Stay with me. All right, ready. Knees a little wider, arms out. Side bend, left hand down, right leg out. Most of the weight should be on your leg compared to your arm. Take your arm behind, open the chest, lift the leg up, and off we go. Kicking forward, 6, and back, 5. Remember, aiming at the leg to be hip height. But it's just an aim. If you can't do it, keep it low. As long as it doesn't touch the floor, you're good. Last 2. And back. One more. Circles next. So rotate the leg. 6 and 5 and 4. Make sure you're breathing at some point. One more. And reverse. So this side should feel a little worse because you're already tired from the other side. But don't stop. If you can, keep going. Hold it here, lower the leg, lift for 6 and 5 and 4 and 3. Last 2, one more. Bend the knees, good job. Sit back down. Ouchie. That just feels just so much work. Small movements, but a lot of work. Roll on up, let's sit in front, and let's stretch those glutes real quick. So crossing the legs like this. There we go. So have your knees open, hold on to the underneath of your knees. Back is straight. I'm gonna show you from the side so you can see better. Back is straight. I want you to feel, you can maintain that length, but I want you to feel like you're folding from the hips. So no rounding of the back if you can. Pull with your arms. You wanna try and bring the chest to the floor in front of you. And you should feel how that just opens up the hips. If you're very flexible, you'll be able to get lower and lower. This is my range today. And you might feel the stretch more in one side than the other. Don't panic, we're gonna switch leg in a second. So remember, you wanna use your mid-back to pull the shoulders wide, and you wanna fold from the hips. Now, come back, pay attention to which leg is in front. Now switch, have the other leg in front. This might feel really weird because instinctively we always put the good leg in front. So this might feel like, oh, that doesn't feel right. If it gives you any pain in the knees, you can have your legs a bit more forward or just switch leg again. So again, maintaining length from the top of your spine all the way down to your hips, hands on your knees, pull yourself and lean forward. Pull with your arms and with your back muscles. Lean forward. So now for me, I feel it more in the glute of the front leg. The other side, I felt it more in this side. So whichever leg is in front, for me, that's the glute that stretches. But it's different from everybody. So as long as you feel a stretch in the hips here, we're good. And then go ahead and come back in. Let's finish with the roll down. So let's stand up. You're gonna have your feet facing forward. Arms are resting just in front of you. So take an inhale. As you exhale, look towards your toes and let the weight of your head take you down. So from the side, it looks like this. You wanna keep the weight towards your feet or towards your toes, towards the balls of the feet. Be careful not to hang behind here. You wanna stay right on top of your feet. So your pelvis and your ankles are in line. Your head is dropped down. Inhale. Exhale, begin to roll up. Use your pelvis first. Draw the pelvis under. And then restack the rest of your spine. We'll do it again. Head leads the way. Rib cage softens. Roll down. Down, down, down. Nice and smooth. Keep the weight onto the balls of the feet. Drop the head down. Inhale. Exhale, come up from the pelvis. Tailbone points down. Roll all the way up. When you get to the top, roll the shoulders back. Open the arms out to the side. Thumbs are facing back. You're gonna open as far back as you can. Open, open, open. Open the chest. Use your mid back. Draw the shoulders together. Pause for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and hold it back. Hold it back. Hold it back. Keep that open through your shoulders. Press the arms down. Keep the shoulders as open as they are. And you guys are all done. Thank you so much. Now try and keep your shoulders as open as we just practiced. Hey guys, thank you so much for taking the class with me. I hope you enjoyed it. Before you go, don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button here. You can also find me on social media channels as well as at mirkofitfoodie.com. Till I see you next time, remember, make the change one small step at a time. Take care. You guys are almost there. Hang in there. Stay with me.